Hi, I'm Nicole with Kingdom Money Sense. I'm so glad you decided to come back. I want to open today with a scripture out of John 5:6. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" So that's our topic for today. Because if we want to get well, if we want to pick up our mat and walk away from the things of this world that are probably bogging us down and we don't even realize it, then we need to decide today that we want to be well. And we want the knowledge that maybe has been withheld from us for so long. So, thank you today. Again, R. Nelson Nash with the Becoming Your Own Banker book. I encourage everyone who's following my videos to please get a copy of this book, and we'll have a link popping up on the screen or in the comments to be able to purchase this book so you can follow along for yourself. Nelson puts forth 5 principles to the infinite banking concept. The first one being to think long term. So let's think about recently, and I'm talking recent in the last 100 years, how the mindset of especially the Western world and America has changed. Going from a generational mindset to more of one of just a self mindset. I think we've all heard it. I know I have from my friends. Oh, ha, 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 I'm spending my children's inheritance. Right? But the scripture clearly tells us in Proverbs that a good man or woman leaves an inheritance to his children and his children's children. I don't know about you and what phase you're in life, but I know my father passed away a little over 20 years ago. I did receive an inheritance, and he was even wise enough to leave an inheritance to my children. Now, ask me where that inheritance is. It got spent. All 4 of my children, some used it wisely, some not so wisely. But it essentially disappeared within that generation that received it. What if you could establish a system that not only benefited your children and your children's children, but even great-grandchildren that are probably not even born yet? I know that's what I'm excited about in discovering the infinite banking concept and what I'm excited to share with you. But there are some mindsets we need to overcome. A second principle is being generous. Most people, you mention whole life insurance, and the first thing they think is, ooh, how little can I put in? But when we start to, later on down the road, after we overcome some mindsets, when we start discussing the numbers and you start seeing how powerful this is, it won't be, how little can I put in, but how much can I put in and how many policies can I have? And we'll discuss that later down the road, but right now, let's discuss mindsets. The first one will be Parkinson's Law. Northcote Parkins wrote a very interesting book called Parkinson's Law. It's not very big. And some of his observations and study and scientific knowledge that he put forth was our behavior. One of his laws is that time allotted for a certain task will be met in that time frame. If you give someone a job to do and say, this needs to be done in 3 days, you can guarantee 9 times out of 10, it will be done at the end of the 3rd day. You can give that same task to somebody and say, please have this completed in 30 days. And lo and behold, the task will be completed on day 30. It's just our human nature, right? Another one of his concepts was a luxury once enjoyed will soon become a necessity. Which means, let's think back. I know I discussed with my children and grandchildren. They laugh at me. We didn't have cell phones or computers And even when I was growing up, there was no microwaves. So the kids are just used to popping some food in the microwave and being able to eat in 30 to 60 seconds. That was not the case for a lot of us growing up. We did not have microwaves. We had to turn on the oven, wait for it to heat up, put our food in. So in maybe 30 to 45 minutes, we could have our dinner. My mother wasn't a cook, so when Swanson TV dinners came out, boy, that was a majority of me and my sister's dinners. So, anyway, who could think about living without a microwave today? Could you even fathom the thought? How about automatic windows in your vehicles? Like when I grew up, and maybe most of you here watching, maybe not some of the younger people, but how many of you can remember cranking down the window automatically, with your arm power? And now it's just the push of a button. A luxury, once enjoyed, becomes necessity. That was another one of his laws. Also, when it comes to money, this one's interesting. But if you really look at it and can be honest with yourself, you'll know it's to be true. So the third and final one will have to do with our finances. It has to do with your income will rise to your expenses. And that has to do with you get a raise at work. Well, all of a sudden now you can enjoy more of the luxuries that become necessities. So it says most Americans do not even have $500 in their banking account. We know we live in a society currently that lives paycheck to paycheck. Savings is a long gone by concept for most of us here in America. In the 1950s, a single man could go to work, support his wife and children, including college, and a home and a vehicle. Today, most families are two-income earning families just to make ends meet. Well, what's happened? Again, this concept, when implemented properly, can help change those things and help you take back control of a seemingly endless chaos that has become our financial landscape. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned a little something about Parkinson's law and maybe how it applies to your life. But this is one of the things we will need to overcome in our mindset for us to grab hold of what we are laying hold of today. The word says we must renew our minds daily. So I hope you'll take this one concept, follow me into the next video, and we'll go over another. Thank you. Have a blessed day.